Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Game number 3 coming at you, Empire versus Vega Squadron. This is it. The winner of this moving on to the finals of the CIS qualifying region for the StarLadder I-League Invitational, season number 4 here. Again, a minor event, ultimately a $300,000 prize pool, and those Dota 2 circuit points on the line here. We'll see which team represents CIS going into the main event.
10 seconds
the invited teams were announced very recently here, by the way, for this event. It was Liquid and Newbie. I don't think anyone's surprised necessarily, but obviously two very quality teams going at it. And so they'll be the two invited teams, and then one team from each region via the qualifiers. Ultimately, a 8-team event is what to expect there. Anyways, back to this match. Got game 3. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by Tsunami. And somewhat familiar opening. We've been seeing these trio of supports, and again, very support-heavy bans initially, in this series especially. So, not too surprised by the opening, I guess.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and Rubik seems to be very popular in this series. Rubik was fairly ignored for the first 2 days. Maybe once we saw it, but it's been in every single game this series. Empire picked it in game 1. Vega Squadron picked it up in game 2, and it looks like they're going to take it in game 3 as well. And Bane only was showing up in the previous game. Like we had mentioned earlier, he was nerfed somewhat in 7.07D, but I don't think that that's what cost Empire their loss in that previous game. It was a combination of other issues, but they're going to take it this game again and follow it up with Tiny again. So pretty much the exact same start as they had in the previous series. Let's see what they get for next.
There you go. Not the most innovation here when it comes to these drafts. Now the third game of the series, but understandable.
10 seconds
Obviously, Empire, pretty decisive victory in game 1. Vega Squadron, a little more drawn-out victory, but got it in game number 2. That's why we're here in the third one in the first place. But yeah, Tiny coming out again. Too strong of an option to pass up right here for Empire. They banned Medusa. If things are like before, they're going to ban Gyrocopter next. You see the Bat Rider ban from Vega Squadron. We're going to see a Nature's... Oh, no, that was already banned, actually. So, maybe not a Nature's Prophet ban, as you can, but... another offlaner, perhaps. Something like a Sand King maybe comes to mind.
10 seconds
seen a fair amount of, so... We'll see what Vega decides here. But, yeah, Team Empire, again, pretty consistent with their drafts and from the bans and the picks here so far, but... Where's that? Oh, again, we talked about the patch notes. Morphling, shouldn't really expect to see him unless
Nope.
they didn't read the patch notes. It's possible, I guess.
Or they're following in their CIS brethren's footsteps and have some offlane morphling potential like how VP runs it, but I find that unlikely.
Yeah. It's just not worth, again, especially with the patch being less than 24 hours old, not worth the trying it out even. Just let it be, practice it later if anything, but... Alright, they banned Brewmaster instead. We did see Blizzy play the Brewmaster last game for Vega Squadron. And even despite him getting a couple of nerfs, overall pretty good.
10 seconds remaining.
On the patch,
I don't know.
There were a couple of other item changes we didn't talk about, including the Meteor
Aeon
Hammer.
Disc. Oh, Meteor Hammer, yeah, both of them. So Aeon Disc got a lot cheaper, and Meteor Hammer's channel time reduced from, I believe, 3 seconds to 2.5 seconds, which is actually pretty significant because, for one thing, it's less time that you're vulnerable whenever you're using it to push, but a lot of heroes have stuns that last, 2.5 seconds, but 3 seconds is a little bit less likely because you also need to, get closer to your target after you stun them and, start channeling it and stuff like that. And so even though it's only 0.5 seconds, it opens up more possibilities for more heroes. I don't think, the channel time is just one of various issues that the item has. So it's going to need to spend some more time in the oven. I don't think 7.07D is going to be like the Meteor Hammer patch now all of a sudden, but
No.
It's a very weird place for an item to be, but it took Rod of Atos 4 years to finally become useful, so...
Well, you have Aeon Disc, though, like you talked about. Aeon Disc is kind of interesting to me, because I've always kind of liked the idea of it, though. Again, proc at 80%, I think, throws a lot of people off from getting it, but at the same time, it's solid for a hero that's jumping in and some kind of an initiator. You could argue that it's getting in there quickly and trying to make some plays, and then Doesn't
It's
have to
getting in
worry
there
as much
quickly,
as
but
dying.
it's also a hero that's okay not dealing damage. Because a lot of initiators, they're initiating spells like, like a Sand King, he's not going to get an A on this because if he jumps into epicenters and he goes down to 80%, which is pretty easy, then all of a sudden your epicenter is doing absolutely no damage. And so it's like, I think Beastmaster is one potential, and I've seen it on a handful of Beastmasters because Beastmaster doesn't really do damage. He jumps in, he roars, and then that's pretty much it. He summons his animals, and the Call of the Wild will do some of the damage, but he's one of the few heroes that you can get away with it. But there are just so few heroes that are okay with not dealing damage for 2.5 seconds, pretty much.
All right, got a Razor into a Clockwork now happening. Palantimos again played a great Razor last game, so seems like Vega Squadron, they too are sticking to what works best on their side. But Clockwork for Empire, usually we've been seeing more of the 4 Clockwork recently, so you would have to expect it to be there.
5 seconds remaining.
So still need their offlaner as well as their mid hero now, but Vega Squadron needing their mid and I guess their offlaner too. So similar storylines.
I'm glad that Vega Squadron picked Palantimos a Razor, because pretty much every game that Vega has won throughout this qualifier was because they give Palantimos a late game hero, and Vega just, maybe it's because the players are new, but whatever the case, they don't seem to be pulling off late game strategies very well. And so maybe they're more comfortable with mid game, or maybe their players are just better suited for mid game. But whatever the case, their victories seem to come whenever they are participating in team fights and grouping up as 5 and, getting a lot of vision around the map, not just letting some anti-major Lycan farm rampantly.
A lot of time being spent here from Vega. I mean, we mentioned a lot of these offlaner bands, Nature's Prophet, Batrider, Beastmaster, Brewmaster. So the options are getting limited here. What, like a Tidehunter is still there? I feel like we haven't seen a lot of Tidehunter. Okay.
Wow.
Get the Tidehunter.
Who is this man?
Well
done.
Usually I would pat myself on the back, but frankly, I don't know if that's like that crazy to call, but it's again a very popular. But this event, as I was just about to say, I don't even know if we've seen Tidehunter yet. Surprisingly,
First one, yeah. I think.
Well, that's kind of crazy in itself, but
5 seconds.
they get
It's great against melee heroes. Tiny and Clockwork both going to get very irritated. Like Tiny especially has a tough time dealing with Tidehunter in laning phase because you're kind of, like once you pick up a tree, you can't choose when you want to stop attacking. When you want to let go of the tree, you are forced to get rid of all those attacks or throw it away for that damage. And if Tidehunter walks up to you and puts that Anger Smash reduction, even though the tree gives a bunch of bonus damage, you'll still kind of have trouble dealing with Tidehunter and damaging him. So I like him against Tiny, and Bane is also a hero that, with that Brain Sap nerf, a little less irritating for a Tidehunter to have to deal with in the offlane.
Classic Clockwork Shadow Fiend combo happening from Empire here. So they bust that out. Yeah, usually when you see a Shadow Fiend, obviously he doesn't need a Clockwork teammate by any means, but having that Clockwork teammate helps a lot. Yeah. Clockwork third pick definitely opens up that option that much more. For obviously, as we're getting at the idea, you destroy the cogs, you get because cogs have souls apparently, and you get the souls. Ideally, around 15 souls, I believe, is what you're looking for.
Actually, I don't know, because most of the time, whenever I saw that strategy, it was when shrines in the base still existed and stuff like that, and I don't really know if I've been seeing it that much ever since then, but. Yeah, it's something around, I don't know if it was 15, because I want to say it was, 9, because that's, 3 casts of cogs.
No. I think 15 is usually, like a good average. Like, you could get 18 if you really stretch, but I think 15 is considered a good average.
6 cog casts? Okay.
9's pretty low, from my experience, yeah.
I guess maybe because a lot of the times I'll see it, and teams aren't willing to give up the bounty runes also. And so you kind of need to find a middle ground. You're like, do I go all in for the souls and basically give up almost all 4 bounty runes because 3 of our heroes are dedicated to helping out the Shadow Fiend get his cog souls? Or do we get a bounty rune and get less souls?
10 seconds.
That's a fair point, actually, with the whole new bounty system. I guess I haven't seen it as much recently.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
Team pick.
And how much you value that here, but Nyx Assassin is going to be the offlaner for Empire, or I guess could be the 4. Again, it's a matter of where they went Clockwork and the Nyx, but they pick up Nyx Assassin with their final pick. Yeah, is there a reason why Nyx is good here, you think? I guess the Spiked Carapace is
10
decent.
seconds remaining.
Against the Razor, perhaps.
It's
5
decent.
seconds
I mean, the biggest thing is Nyx Assassin's a offlaner that you don't really need to worry about. He has extremely high base HP regen, and so you just like slap a mango on him and a stout shield, and even Shadow Shaman with his ridiculously high base damage can't really do very much to zone out a Nyx Assassin. But I don't like if you pick a Nyx Assassin, I feel like Nyx Assassin and Clockwork kind of fulfill the same role, which is, you know, you're getting a lot of data with Clockwork, the Flare, Nyx Assassin with the Vendetta. You can very quickly initiate Nyx with the Vendetta again, Clockwork with the hookshot. But if you pick both of the heroes, then I feel like they're kind of overlapping in what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, that's fair. Gostic going to be playing the Clockwork here, so he is going to be in the off lane. With Clockwork and Nyx Assassin, again, Yoku to play the position 4 instead. A little bit more roam, perhaps some mana burn harassment in the laning phase. Maybe in the mid lane, because you see that final pick Gyrocopter, and it looks like G's playing it, so they're planning to match that up against the Shadow Fiend, perhaps have Rubik there, as we've seen in previous games. And that could be really annoying for the Shadow Fiend once again to go up again. So, but at the same time, Nyx Assassin are really going to be able to do a lot against that. So.
Yeah, because like a lot of times we'll see an Undying. Like earlier in this qualifier, we saw Undying paired up with the Shadow Fiend quite frequently. I don't think Undying was banned.
He was.
But I guess I wasn't really. Oh,
he was
okay.
banned. Yeah, I did notice that. They banned Tusk, Undying, and somebody else on their side.
Oh yeah, well actually I can see the. So Empire banned out Night Stalker, and that Undying and Tusk. Also Empire banned out all those 4 heroes, and then. I'm still skeptical if Nyx Assassin's like your only option to help out the Shadow Fiend mid, but we'll see. Like you said, Mana Burn will prove to be useful very early on. If you're not going to use it in the mid lane, you can also use it in the off lane. You can burn off Tidehunter, and like Anchor Smash is the entire reason why this hero is so good in the off lane and so good at contesting the enemy carry. So if you can make sure that he doesn't have the mana to cast it, that helps out quite a bit.
Obviously, we're going to pause here to start things off. I'm kind of just looking through the patch notes, anything that I haven't really talked about yet. Oh, Arcane Rune got nerfed. Okay, interesting. Mana cost reduction reduced from 40 to 30%. Huh.
Yeah.
So
Same with the cooldown reduction.
I want to see Helm of the Dawn.
It's mainly just...
Go ahead.
It's an anti-storm nerf, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we're seeing the Cog Strike here, yeah. So we'll see what FN decides to... or what they go for. Oh, doing the dance. I like it.
I always like saying the directions because teams have to practice this. So personally, I'm a fan of 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Oh, wait. 6 o'clock. Whoa, this is crazy. I've never seen that one before.
6 to
6
3.
o'clock, 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay. Huh. I like it.
Yeah, this is not something you just go into a pub and be like, hey, we have Shadow Fiend Clockwork. Let's do this, guys.
Definitely
not.
Because
all of a sudden you go to the lane with like 2 souls, maybe. Like, well, that was a waste. Yeah, so he has 9 here.
And you can see that Vega know that this is happening, so they're already invading. 45 seconds pre-game. Slayer's going to be able to place a very aggressive ward if he wants to, which he does. So you take advantage of this if Empire go for the strategy. So it's a trade-off.
Exactly, and I'm so happy seeing that because I do remember when we've seen this before in recent patches, like teams wouldn't be doing this, and you're like thinking to yourself, like you know that they're playing so defensive, you have to take advantage of that, and exactly, Vega Squadron's doing so. So they're comfortable with the 12 souls. They'll be good with that. Trying to get to the bounty runes right here, but as we've already mentioned, Vega Squadron's set up to defend at least. Valentimos going to steal this one.
The battle begins.
And probably pick up the other one as well. So going to be a pretty good start for Razor. Although, top lane, they actually stole that rune up there. So it ends up being 2 for 2, actually. Despite the...
Yeah, Blizzy has gone for a deep, deep cut.
Oh, wow, he really has.
Oftentimes you'll see it near the easy camp, but Blizzy, again, this is an advantage you can take whenever you know that 3 heroes are dedicated to helping out 1 hero. Shadow Fiend's not going to go do anything. Nyx Assassin obviously can't contest right now, so Blizzy gets an easy level 2.
Yeah, they do have Bane middle lane, but man, this is a 3-man gank early on. The Shackle's coming out, but the Nightmare will stop it immediately, so And now that's pretty big because FN, he was in some trouble. Now the turn kill potential on a G. G's having a run. Couple more auto attacks. Eats the tree. It's not enough. Miposhka, credit for first blood. However, nice shackles in the tower range. At least get the turn kill on a Yoku and make it a 1-for-1. But definitely the start that Empire was hoping for. Quick, we have a 3 versus 3 middle lane. That's always fun seeing try mid. Oh, that was awkward. One more auto attack. No, he's out of range. Now Miposhka's overstepping. This is an action-packed middle lane, man, right off the bat.
Well, I think Vega are just kind of a little frustrated because like one of the other things that is popular to do against Shadow Fiend that takes a strategy is you just go ham on him. So like you went all this, you know he has souls at level 1, so he's not gonna have raise. And if you can make him lose all those souls by killing him, then you got such a huge advantage. So it's another thing, but wisely Empire moved the Bane down there immediately, and Yoku, once he realized what Tidehunter was up to, started rotating himself, and they were able to get first blood.
Okay, well, quickly we'll take a look at the other lanes, as that middle lane is definitely where the action's going to be, I'm sure. But Clockwork versus Razor bottom. You see the cogs being used right there to kind of push him back, mana burn a little bit. But Razor, by all means, should have a great time in this matchup, you'd figure.
Yeah, he has
Tiny Top.
Very little to be concerned about, and he's not. I mean, he's pushed up really high, which is a little bit surprising because like you can freeze the lane pretty easily against a Clockwork, but I guess maybe I don't know. He wants to make sure that he can. I don't know.
Can you though?
He's not even pulling.
Gosta can use the cogs to keep the lane from pushing up, so I don't know if he's
That's
been
true,
doing
but
that.
Razor specifically can with Plasma Field. You can pull this hard camp fairly easily. And so it's one way to like, it's why Razor is, in my opinion, like such a great static farmer, because a lot of heroes have to like compromise a creep or two to go get that pull camp, but Razor can just cast it, and he doesn't really care about damaging Clockwork because you're not going to kill Clockwork for like another 3 levels or so.
Well, top lane, Miposhka's rotating up here, but obviously this isn't going to be a kill. It's just more so saying hello and being like, get away from my carry. I mean, they're not killing him, are they? It's Tidehunter, right?
Well,
he's fine, right?
Well...
Yeah, he's fine.
Oh, what a salve.
Oh, he's not fine. Miposhka's got it. Brain sap to finish the job. You're right. The salve barely saved him initially, and he's like walking around, like you know, brushing his shoulders off, and then sap. No.
Yeah, he went for second point and anchor smash as opposed to second point and Kraken Shield, which is not surprising at all. At 9 times out of 10, you do that, but well played by the band to make that rotation.
Especially 1 versus 1. I mean, up until then, it's been a true 1 versus 1, so you can't blame the build there for sure. But, yeah, going down. So, nice job. Nice rotation, ultimately. Thought it wasn't going to work, but it was close. Bane makes it work, though, in the end. Hit level 2.
There are 3 heroes in this mid lane staring at every single creep because they want to make sure that they get the denies, but FN he's using raises for last hits. He's got 18 souls still after the initial cogs, so, you know, things aren't that bad.
Well, but at the same time, we're 4 minutes into the game. Gyrocopter just hit level 3, and Shadow Fiend is still level 2. And this is he just hit level 3 himself, but obviously this goes to so many people being in this middle lane. Both mids are actually under-leveled right now.
But the trade-off is Yoku's level 3 and Bane is level 3, whereas Rubik is still level 2, about to hit level 3. So the experience is still going somewhere. It's just distributed differently amongst different heroes. And now Yoku has picked up an Invis rune. And you don't expect an Invis Nyx assassin in your lane at 4 minutes in the game, but there's also not very much damage. Although Shadow Fiend has taken his second point in raise. Okay. So if you can get a triple raise, you could maybe do something.
So tough to get that angle, though, and it'd be uphill at this point, so it's a little risky.
I feel like he should bait. Like, if he baits Slayer into going in for a shackle, like, Slayer will definitely go for it, because you've got Rocket Barrage up. Well, so they're going to go now onto the Shaman.
Yeah, that works, too. Shadow Shaman trying to counter ward, unfortunately gets him killed, so I guess if you're just patient enough, and actually they had a sentry in range of the sentry, so they take it out immediately. It's good for them. And they get the kill. So 3-1 start now for Empire, and FN pushing on the uphill. He's got, again, those 18 souls. Still sitting on just the level 1 Necromastery. But there's a homie. How's the build looking for Gyrocopter? Okay, he's going the 1-1-1 build right now. I was actually curious, being this massive tri-lane, middle lane, and all the action. You'd figure like a Rocket Barrage.
Yeah, I'm imagining Rocket Barrage. I mean, the value point is in the homing missile is now another kill. These Bane rotations by Miposhka are panning out so well against this Tidehunter.
Yeah, caught that as he was being tossed in the air and coming down. So apparently, Bane rotations, perhaps you know, that pure damage of Brain Sap also being a key to getting that kill. But man, Tides usually thrives on being able to survive. He's not doing that
now
here.
Blizzy promptly puts a Radiant Cliff forward. He does not want to have to deal with that rotation anymore. It happened 2 times too many, as now on the bot lane, Ghostic getting a lot of damage sapped, but he gets away.
And he does. Palantimos doesn't want to waste valuable farm time chasing. So he'll go back. Eye of the Storm is activated. He's got that magic wand as well. 11 charges currently on it. So he would definitely be ready for a fight if it was to break out. Maybe top lane they could try for something, because Tiny's just abusing this Titan right now. Up in the tower. And he's not afraid to play aggressive. So, I mean, would you think Vega Squadron could perhaps send a TP up here to rotate? And as I say, they're doing that actually.
They're sending up this Shaman.
I don't know if it's enough damage though. He is level 6.
Yeah, oh man, and Blizzy just used Anchor Smash to farm as well. But now Rubik has come.
Lift, yeah, with Rubik, that could be enough. A little too much CC, throws the Avalanche on too.
Oh, wow.
Still running. No support coming in, though, this whole time. If he had support, maybe, but yeah, he is going to go down. I might be a little frustrated if I'm silent there. Survived for so long.
Yoku has been sitting in the mid lane, and he hasn't gotten a chance to go to a shop yet, so he hasn't been able to buy a TP. And I guess Clockwork, he doesn't have hookshot yet, he's a melee hero. He may have been able to help out, but then if he leaves, then maybe Palantimos gets too much, so no one was really willing to do it. Bane was the only hero who could, and he didn't have a TP either.
Oh, Gyrocopter actually putting 2 points in a flat cannon now. So he's looking to be a little bit more farm with that ability, but right now, I mean, he is essentially getting free last hits at this point. Currently, Shadow Fiend even missing in the jungle. So keep an eye on that, though. Even with the Ancient nerfs and the Mask of Madness nerfs that we were talking about earlier, you still expect to see that, right?
Yeah, for sure. This mid lane, Yoku's a little bit too fast with boots. Yeah, like I said, it's a nerf just to make it less good, but it's still good, and it doesn't change how you fundamentally play any of the heroes. The Mask of Madness nerf, that's a little bit more severe, and I think as time progresses, fewer and fewer heroes are going to be willing to build it, and it's going to be more team comp dependent. Like this game against the Shadow Fiend, like, you know, all that minus armor, it'll start adding up, and maybe you will have to reconsider building Mask of Madness against Shadow Fiend or other physical damage comps, Tiny as well. So we'll have to see, but like you said, it's a little too early. I imagine he's going to go for the Mask of Madness. There aren't really very many other options other than Sange and Yasha, and I don't really know if Ancient farming plus Sange and Yasha is viable. If you go for Ancient farming, you pretty much always go Mask of Madness and Flat Cannon.
Bottom lane, Razor. Again, just continuing to farm very well, and looks like he's going a similar build as he was last game. The Hooded Defiance queued up next. I believe he got the drums as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then eventual lesson why. Wow, Bane's going really aggressive.
Hookshot is up, and Ghostic has a double damage rune.
A lot of TPs, though, as you would expect.
Tide is level 6.
Oh, Ravage. No, the mana burn! But he uses the stick. He gets the mana back. They get the kill on a Clockwork. Palantimos will live. And now it's Empire, the one that's running. Bane as well as the Nyx Assassin. Yeah, so you can tell what they were going for, but it took just a bit too long to ultimately set up right there. And now Bane's dead, and Nyx just has to run. Relax, you're doing fine. Yeah, I'm sure they're frustrated after that one, but obviously a great response from Vega.
Razor's not an easy hero for 3 supports to do that. You need the burst damage of a Tiny or a Shadow Fiend if you plan on getting that kill.
Yeah, that Cogs burn initially, that was pretty clutch, but again, had the stick. And if he's not able to Ravage there, I mean, obviously that doesn't go as well, but...
Yeah.
Or the wand even to use and then turn it. Now he has a Soul Ring. So tied on her, all of a sudden those mana problems, not as much of a concern anymore. Pretty good item on here. Razor makes it up top.
Yeah, him leaving means that Razor now has to go top, and, well... Silent could... Well, he doesn't toss for... the toss wouldn't have killed the tower, but I guess maybe he was concerned about putting in deny range.
That should help.
But still, a lot of, like, a Tiny being able to take down a tier 1 this early on with a hero who was contesting him is pretty good. Oh, rotation. These heroes are slow. Rubik does not have a windlace. Oh, he gets it.
Range, throws Bane into the trees, but it would be too much of a chase at that point.
Yeah, and he doesn't have Hex on Shaman, and so he'd have to go for the Shackle, and Silent would have immediately broken it with Avalanche.
Blizzard or Valve. I just said Blizzard. Valve, the tooltip for Arcane Rune is not updated.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Blizzy.
Blizzy.
And you just like misread it.
I totally just.
Oh, does it still say 30 or
It says 40%
40%
for mana cost, yeah, because it's 30% now,
Classic.
right? Yeah.
Correct.
Come on now. We were mentioning that, you know, the off stream, but the Shadow Demon.
The Shadow
change
Demon, that's right.
with the talent, it suggests now Soul
Dire's
Catcher
middle
creates an
tower
illusion,
is
but
under attack.
so I guess they removed it from the Soul Catcher base ability. However, it still suggests that it creates the illusion on the Soul Catcher ability. So, just saying.
Yeah. Shout out to tooltips.
Tooltips number 1.
Very accurate.
Blizzy. Blizzy the player, bottom lane. He's going to be jumped. 1 raise, 2 raise, auto attacks. Or no. I think he might have missed the first raise actually, but didn't matter there. Maybe he hit it. Or that might have been the raindrop even. No, he had.
Oh yeah, I think it was the raindrop.
Perhaps.
The Tide is getting bullied for sure. He's not going to get a Blink Dagger anytime soon. He may, in fact, go for Greaves
Radiant
straight up.
structures are fortified.
I think that it would be okay because most of the time, the way that Empire are, like their draft, it feels like they're going to be the ones initiating the majority of the time, and Tidehunter is going to be more counter initiation because I mean you've got Nyx Assassin, like I said, with Vendetta Vision, and then you've got Clockwork Hook. And I imagine that, okay, so Tiny is going to go for a Shadow Blade. It's either Shadow Blade or Blink Dagger these days. It seems for Silent, that seems to be his options. And I think Shadow Blade's fine. It may be doubling down on Invis a little bit too much since you've already got the Nyx
Dire's middle
Assassin.
tower is under attack.
But it's a better damage item compared to Blink Dagger, so...
Of course, yeah.
Oh, there's a Sentry Ward here.
Yep.
They know Yoku's.
They know he's in
Oh,
the
they
air.
kind of
They have
moved
another
like they
one.
know.
Have another one.
But now there are too many heroes.
Baiting him back in, but Bane is there. As you mentioned, too many heroes. Gostic, he has a hook shot ready as well. They got the kill with Poshka. Maybe try to make a play on a Razor now, but he pops the Eye of the Storm. Here comes the Ravage. Poshka, Slayer's actually still alive even. Puts out the Shackles, ends up getting the turn kill on a Nyx Assassin, and Gostic will also fall. Playing the Clockwork. Poshka all of a sudden, he's having a run. Has a Fiend's Grip. They want to maybe go for another turn here. Silent, ready to go in as well, but Tidehunter not the most ideal target. They do get the kill, but at what cost? Now they're running away. The Rocket Barrage in the face of Bane. But Poshka going the other direction, says if you want to kill me, you got to run over here, but they say they don't care, and they kill Tiny
The Courier
instead.
getting vision. I like this. I like this. He can shield it whenever they want.
There
we
you go.
go.
That's awesome. Very well played with the shield, abusing the Courier shield, and they just run after him, and they get
Radiant's
Miposhka
middle
as well.
tower is under
What a
attack.
cleanup for Vega there. Only losing Tide.
Yeah, oftentimes it's kind of it's a downside to have to spend your Serpent Wards and your Ravage like that because, like initially it wasn't any carry heroes. It was the Nyx Assassin, it was the Bane, and it was the Clockwork. But
Dire's
then
middle
Tiny
tower is
committed a
under
little bit
attack.
too much to the fight, ended up going down, and so having to spend both those ultimates is expensive for Vega Squadron. But you know, only one more minute for Rasta Wars to come back, a minute and a half for Tidehunter Ravage to come back. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, so I know I meant to bring this up in the previous game. We saw Shadow Fiend, but got caught up in something else. We do see him get the spell amplification talent, and I brought up the idea, especially now with the Blink first. The spell damage build of Shadow Fiend, that level 25 talent eventually getting there, 40% cooldown reduction. It's pretty absurd as far as, because not only with the abilities, by the way, Razor, he's in a lot of trouble here. He's dead. He gets found
As
out.
is Palantir. Yeah, oh, that is who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Rubik in the bot lane, who is also in trouble, or was, briefly. Silent,
away.
gonna toss?
Toss. He does have it. They don't see him. Yeah, the vision wasn't there at nighttime.
Dire's middle tower
And
is
he actually
under
escapes.
attack.
Going back to the point, though, Blink Daggers become like an insanely low cooldown. The Yules that he probably would get at that point, too, becomes insanely low cooldown. Anything that's activatable on him, as well as his abilities, then. Again, it's pretty ridiculous, is what I was getting at. Once he at level 25. So,
Dire's middle tower
I would love
is
to see
under
that.
attack.
And I'm not saying he's committed towards it from the level 10 talent, but it's possible this game.
Yeah, and he does have Blink Dagger in his quick buy, as now G goes down to, man, this is high impact movement coming out from Silent. Everywhere he goes, it's creating chaos as now
Dire's top
Slayer
tower
on the
is under
run.
attack.
Or you notice a theme right here. I mean,
toss.
Empire, when they're able to find the core's kind of individual with no response, they can get the easy kill. But that's what happened at the bottom lane where they couldn't get the initial kill on Rage Holes and all that response happened. And team fight-wise, Vega Squadron really strong. So that's where they shine.
Which is, I think, part of the reason why FN is going for this Blink Dagger. They know that they can't win team fights. They have to be purely pick-off oriented. And so you'll see the Blink Dagger, but I would be surprised if he goes for the Yules afterwards, because there is Telekinesis, there's Ravage, there's Hex, there's Shackles. There are so many things to interrupt you during that cast. So you can get the Blink Dagger for positioning and pickoff purposes, and the Raze amplification talent helps a lot with that, because each Raze is amped, the Raze stacks are amped, and you can, it's a great farming item as well. I mean, farming talent as well. But yeah, so after this, he's going for the BKB, which a little bit preemptive possibly, but maybe after the BKB he'll go for the Yules. I don't know. This is a creative SF build.
Yeah, that would be a really late Yules. It almost seems like he's just going the straight up initiation, obviously. Just blink in, BKB, and get your Requiem off, and rely on your Razes to do damage here. Which, again, is fine, but that's an early BKB. And BKB this early on in the game, it's still going to be a little bit, but you get the point. It's the earlier you get it, the earlier you're using it. If it becomes late game, all of a sudden you have a 5-second BKB.
Which is very important against all these things that I mentioned that could cancel the Requiem. It'll be CC in general, Hex, Shackles, Telekinesis, and Static Link. Static Link is something that he's going to have to be very concerned about in moving forward in the game, especially since he's not going for a Pike right now.
Nixasas's impact, I mean, he's trying to use the Vendetta right here for at least information. Don't think he's getting a kill out of this, but as I say that, maybe
Tiny
they are.
Walks into a Sentry Ward.
But Razor, he's going to get caught out. Vendetta auto attack opens up with the Impale. There's the Avalanche hitting as well, of course. The toss in the air, and that triple raise.
Triple raise.
Well played.
Give me some more on this Shadow Shaman. Bonk.
Double kill for FN. Great find there. So yeah, I didn't think it was going to result in a kill from Nyx Assassin, but patient enough, it does. And whoa!
Now Gothic, mid lane.
Ruben kind of just walked on up to farm the lane.
It's not that big of a deal if you use hookshot. Whoa, that's a lot of cogs. It's not that big of a deal if you use hookshot because, again, so like the downside of Nyx Assassin and Clockwork having the same role is that they're kind of overlapping. But Ghostick knew that he wasn't really necessary for that move inside the Radiant jungle, so he was off getting data elsewhere. Not that the Rubik kill is that important, but if Gyrocopter showed up mid after that Nyx Assassin thing, he's like, well, Vendetta's down, I may feel safe. Then you see that like the pressure never really ends from Empire.
This top lane, by the way,
now they're gonna go top.
Well, I've been watching this whole time. Oh my god, they didn't even kill Tenor. He pops a Ravage. Silent gets very low as well, but now G's in trouble. Yoku has the Impale, gonna stop the TP. No Requiem needed. Just a couple of raises. Yeah, that was very interesting. Fiend's Grip was not ready for the Bane. He actually was just short of mana, so they couldn't lock down Titanor like they were hoping for. And they went for a quick reset, but it almost seemed like Tiny was then going to get a turn as the call down came out and the Ravage, but just enough support. They kill G, and they're going to heal on up as Silent actually being the big target there. So, yeah, he has that Shadow Blade as mentioned. What else is coming to him here? The Yasha? Yeah. Has the Yasha now as well, on his way to the SNY. Forest Staff picked up by Clockwork. So a nice utility item to have for his team. Razor does have his drums finished, though. But again, the Vega Squadron's strength seems to be this kind of, we fight as a team, but they need Ravage for that to be fair, so they're going to have to at least wait another 80 seconds or so. But next time they have Ravage, do you think they really should just like group and push the tower?
They can try, but the problem is that if you start grouping, then Empire ideally will start pushing on their own. Like, Tiny is a pretty good pusher in his own right. Not necessarily as fast as Serpent Wards, but he's also not nearly as cooldown dependent as Serpent Wards. If you start giving up, like, so right now all four heroes are grouping, and I'm pretty sure Slayer's just going to go straight for the wards. He's going to plop them down, And so you see this, and now you see Silent immediately moves to the mid lane. He unfortunately used his tree to farm some Ancients. Otherwise, he could have gotten some damage on this mid tier too. But hookshot, initiation, onto Shadow Shaman.
Slayer, he's definitely dead from this.
Flare for vision.
More. They spot Rubik, stop him with the sleep. Yep, Nightmare hits. That vision. Allowing to set this up. He has a Fiend's Grip. He's going to go for it. Brainstaff Fiend's Grip. Nope. Doesn't want to use it. Okay, now he has to. Finally
there's not much damage between these two support heroes, and now Invis, Shadowblade, Tiny. And these are the two hardest heroes next to the shrine, so yeah, you cannot really do this. Even with Yoku, you can't do this.
They cut him off over here.
Could kill the courier on the way back.
They see the courier now. Maybe. Just thinking about it.
It turned nighttime, unfortunately, right at that moment. 20 minutes.
All right, Shadow Fiend does have the BKB, and he is actually going the Manta style here. So, maybe not going to be going that outright spell damage build as we were getting at earlier. But yeah, going the straight BKB. It's a bold decision here. Still full
Yeah.
10 seconds, though.
It's still full 10 seconds, and so if he's conservative with the usage, then I'm okay with it. It's like an emergency BKB. So they know they have an advantage right now, and the advantage can slip away very quickly against a gyrocopter, so I'm okay with the BKB for those usage. But the Blink Dagger and the BKB are kind of incongruous because you get a Blink Dagger and you're like, I want to go super aggressive, and I want to get kills, and if I have to spend a BKB to do that, it's okay, but hopefully FN sticks together with his team and he doesn't have to blow BKBs on like solo picks. And it looks like that's going to be the case as Yoku's posted up on this high ground.
Nyx Assassin. Not going to go a
Radiant's
little bit too
bottom
far
tower
back. It
is
seems like the
under
Radiant
attack.
side.
And
Radiant's
they're
Good
wise
idea.
to this.
are
There's this
fortified.
dire ward scouting out, and they're going to back off.
Tiny's still going to find somebody. That's the gyrocopter even. That's the best target, really, to find for a free kill.
Dire's middle
So yeah,
tower
that
is
Vega
under
squad
attack.
got really scattered there, running towards the Dire's base even. It's just very odd right now for Vega. In fact, Rasta's going to be completely...
Slayer.
I don't know what he's planning.
I'm
But-
not quite sure either.
He put the wards down, going to do a little bit of damage to tier 2. Just doesn't feel like that's worth the trade, though.
No, it's not. Because that's one cooldown down, and now Silent fights the Rubik. So, okay, the justification is that, like, Vega Squadron, they know their jungle is, like, a really dangerous spot right now. But that doesn't mean that the enemy jungle is a safer spot. It just means that you kind of need to pause and group and stay safe for a little bit, because there's so much mobility on these Empire heroes. Even if you just, like, pass through a ward, people can mobilize on you very quickly. Vendetta... and now a Blink Dagger on Nyx Assassin, Hookshot, and Flare Vision scouting stuff out, and this Invis Tiny, which, Rubik, he's pretty poor. He's working towards his Force Staff, and that means that he's not interested in buying Sentry Wards right now. The Rasta, he has 3 Sentry Wards, but where do you put them? Are you going to put them defensively, or are you going to put them offensively? And, I don't know, that was a very strange movement from Vega Squadron, especially because they're not going together. Like, if all 5 heroes go towards the tier 2, if all 5 heroes go to farm the Dire jungle, then okay, go for it, but they can't all spread, like, I don't know, they can't scatter.
Yeah. That makes sense there in bottom lane. It's going to be spread out, Tyner. I don't think they saw him there. Nope. He's able to TP out before he does get caught himself, but Bane and Shadow Fiend rotating over. Shadow Fiend with that double damage rune even. Ready to deal plenty of right-click damage.
They could go for Roche, actually. With the DD rune, I think that Roche is pretty valuable. Because, I mean, like, there's only 1 tier 2 remaining.
They don't have the most vision around. I mean, they do got the support here as I'm looking at in their jungle, but they don't have anyone around the Roshan pit, and they're fairly spread out right now. So yeah, it seems like they're pretty content on actually just farming a little bit, pushing in all the way to the tier 3 tower, in fact, at the bottom, and they're going to get at least Rubik to respond.
Yeah, Fenn's like, oh, is no one here?
Yeah.
Great, I'll do some damage.
He's
I'll take it down to half HP if I stop missing so much.
and
And
Rasta.
Silent gets a kill on Rasta in the meantime.
He's going to go and hug Tiny. Good old Tiny hug. And now Clockwork's even coming down here, ready with a hook shot. I mean, Empire's just honestly just stomping on Vega right now. They're really going deep for this. A Requiem on top of the gyrocopter. The pushback from the Cox set it up
That was
perfectly.
amazing.
And now they're going for the tower, but here comes Razor. However, the Spike Carapace will stun him initially. Caustic, that's the Blade Mail, wearing off though. And he'll fall,
Tier
but
3 is going down. This DD rune is still in effect. Oh, what a stun.
fail. The fact that they're able to do this with 3 heroes is just ridiculous.
Because Tiny's off
Radiant's
pushing
top
tier 2
tower is
top.
under attack. Radiant's top tower
And
has
yeah,
fallen.
top tier 2 goes down. Well, that's all happening. SNY's finished now. BKB, he already has 2,000 gold. I mean, he's going to have a BKB. Just a couple of minutes even, it feels like, as well. So yeah, just Empire.
Man, that Cog into Requiem was sick.
That was really
You
cool.
you don't see like phased through Requiems these days that much because that Yule's build isn't that popular anymore, but that's like, I'm pretty sure he got hit by like every single line as now Yoku almost gets another amazing impale, but not
Radiant's
quite.
bottom tower is
Bane
under
will
attack.
die this time, and actually Yoku's in trouble now himself. Nice body blocking a little bit. Yeah, tried to run, but a double kill for Palantimos all of a sudden. And that's 3 heroes dead. I mean, Clockwork's going to be up in a second. Yeah, they thought about maybe taking a Roshan here.
No,
That's too risky.
slow. They would have to spend Rost awards for it.
So Shadow Fiend, almost level 20. as well. I assume he's going to get the 20% evasion, especially if he's, again, not going for that whole spell damage build. And evasion pretty good this game.
Yeah. Against the Gyrocopter and Razor, yeah. If you're this far ahead, technically you could go for the raise damage, but it's not necessary to take that kind of risk.
Bottom lane, they found Rasta. Oh, Sentry will spot Tiny, though, the immediate hex, but welcome to the world of status resistance. He's up pretty quickly there.
Ghostic's having a fantastic game right now.
Alright, wow, he's...
like, pretty much every single hookshot has been connecting.
And he's almost the same farm as Gyro.
Yeah. And he keeps going for Gyro, which is perfect, because maybe it's partly the reason that, like, I don't know, G is just being in the bad place at the bad time, but Ghostic is, like, delivering every single time. He got that hook on the Gyrocopter in the mid lane, and he got this hook underneath the tier 3. Ghostic is making life very hard for Vega Squadron. Has now Fiend's Grip.
Rubik not so safe right there. The Fiend's Grip over to the Rec Room in the back lines with that BKB. Will do a little bit of damage, put the debuff on. Tidehunter has a Ravage, though, still. Razor will take the spiked Carapace down, but they got the tier 3, and that's all that Rec Room was for, really. Just kind of scare them off. And finish the tier 3, it seems like. So Empire kind of dancing a little bit, having fun.
They still haven't taken Roche yet, so you shouldn't commit too heavily. In fact, I'm even surprised that they went for that. Especially seeing as how last time they went for a push, being a little underprepared and not going for Roche, they lost the game for it, in my opinion. So be cool, go for a Roche. I don't really think that Vega Squadron can easily contest this.
No.
They have Ravage and all that stuff, but you just post up a bunch of heroes on the outside of the pit, and let Bane tank the gank, let Clockwork or Nyx Assassin tank the gank.
Yeah, a couple of hooded
Or do the
Defiance.
gank.
Or just do the gank. Yeah, Shadowfiend's running in even. They are going to catch Tiny. The Shackle's locked him against status resistance. He's out pretty quickly. The Ravage on top of that. Tiny's still taking good damage, and he will fall to Link on top of him that whole time. But now F-Ben's in trouble. Yeah, 10 more seconds. That's not going to work. He ends up exploding, actually. The call down used from G, doing a bit of damage. Gostic, he's having to get out. The toss, Razor in. Going for a kill. Maposhka getting low, as is Yoku. Yoku just going to try to get killed by Roshan, maybe? No, he blinks away, actually. To the Roshan pin. Maposhka, the toss. That's a big targeted slam on your face. Ouch. All right, yeah, so they take the fight to them, and it backfires. That's pretty much what you're just talking about.
Freaking Empire, god damn it. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Just take the Roche, man. You're so far ahead. It doesn't matter if you get kills.
I mean, Shadowfiend has a buyback, but he's a really bad buyback hero for obvious reasons. And
yeah, you can
Tiny's
get the
dead.
Roche. Oh man, they want to contest this. It looks like. I don't even think you should go for the YOLO if you're Clockwork.
He's gonna scare them at least. He's going for it. He is. Look at he goes for it. He gets the steal. Yes, Gostic gets the steal. He's still alive for the time being. That Blade Mail doing some work against Razor. Razor's getting low himself. He's gonna ultimately survive, and now Nyx Assassin in trouble. So Clockwork probably gonna die as well, of course. But he will deny the Aegis, essentially.
I mean, I guess.
Oh, no.
And he gets out. Okay,
Oh, no.
fine. Okay, fine.
He's actually going to
Ghostic.
live.
All right, fine.
Oh, man.
That was the one condition that I'm okay with it. If he doesn't die twice, I'm okay with it. I just didn't consider that to be a possibility. But Ghostic is just playing out of his mind right now as Rubik. All he wanted to do was just maybe go to the secret shop or something, but no.
Maybe get some vision down. Yeah, I guess he already had one over here.
Radiant's
But
top shrine is under
mental-wise, I think that was worth it, honestly, if anything. Because again, if they
Yeah.
happen to steal, even if he
That's true.
dies, like if you're Vega Squadron, you're like, are you freaking kidding me? We finally win a fight, and then that happens. That's got to be just so frustrating.
That's true, but I mean, like, you have such a high net worth advantage right now that even a Clockwork dying, who, as we mentioned, is just as farmed as the Gyrocopter, like, it's a core dying. You're sending a core into suicide, pretty much. And so, the Nyx Assassin, you can give that, that's collateral damage. You want to make a Aegis Omelet, you gotta crack a few Nyx Assassins, but Ghostic dying twice, I don't know if that would have been worth it, but he outplays Vega Squadron, and yeah, the mental damage, you can't quantify that can't be seen on graphs.
We did talk about the possible BKB coming for Tiny, but he actually decides to go the full Silver Edge even. So he has that break effect now, I guess, against a Tidehunter specifically.
Yeah, Tidehunter specifically is now Slayer. Oh.
Well, that's not even needed against him, but
Wonk.
a couple of auto attacks with that tree, and he's dead. And now he's going to be working on the BKB even, so soon to come. Aether Lens on Bane. That's when you're feeling good. All that extra range to work with.
Oh, yeah.
Solar Crest for Clockwork. He's actually going for an axe, and again, his farm's very good. He's still a little bit behind the Gyrocopter, but the fact that he's even close is ridiculous in itself. So an axe is very reasonable. Makes that hook shot.
This is so tough for Gyrocopter because like one of Gyro's best ways to get back into the game is you just plow through jungle camps very, very quickly, but he is not allowed to leave his base. It's so scary against this Clockwork, this Nyx Assassin, this Invis Tiny, because your supports, they'll try to place some sentry wards, but they can only place it on a handful of camps, so you know, you have to keep rotating between the same camps, and Palantimos Razor, he wants to farm also. So it's so difficult to find any gold on this Gyrocopter, so it doesn't surprise me that he's like still so close to the Nyx Assassin.
10-second BKB for Razor. He wants to fight it, look like, but not going to get at the beak or the
Clockwork.
On.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. On Tidehunter, he just got the blink as well himself, so those Ravaged initiations ideal. I want to talk about Shadow Fiend though. A level 20 talent. He actually did go the 150 Shadow Raise damage over the evasion. So
I think it's fun. It's like I said, it's a gamble, and apparently Empire like to gamble, otherwise they wouldn't go for so many kill attempts when Roche is easy pickings for them. So, you know, it speeds up his farm, and if he does manage to land a triple raise with 10% spell amp, so let's see. The base damage on each raise is worth 500 damage right now, roughly, in terms of magic damage if you alt-click over it. And then the bonus damage per stack is roughly 100. So 2 raises is about 1,000, 1,100, or almost 1,200. And then 3 raises is like 1,700. So, you know,
a lot. Yeah, you're right.
That is a lot.
It does add up because of how the stacking works, especially. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh wow, and he's a butterfly now too. Just got purchased. Nice. I mean, he has to get. I assume he's. I don't know. Does he actually get the 40% cooldown reduction here? Because he has all those activatable items as well.
Yeah, but I don't think he has enough mana to just like raise for days. So I think you go damage for soul. Because if he had like a Scotty, which he is going for Scotty, so he might lifted.
Okay, he's gonna run away. Pops a BKB, so screw it. We gotta fight this directly. Run on top of Titus. He jumped in. He's like, oh crap, this is a bad decision. He's got a Ravage to use though. Shadow Fiend will keep running. Nobody dead just yet. A lot of BKBs going off, especially on the Radiant team. All their cores. And in fact, Clockwork will escape. What is over here? Tiny's going in to clean up. Picks off Rubik, but now Silent. Did he overstep? Homing Missile channeled onto the Bane over there. Tiny gonna toss away Razor. Keep on running. Has another Silver Edge in 5 seconds. Okay, Nyx Assassin was left behind. So another clash that only results in 1-for-1. Despite these two teams really going at it, but a lot of BKB usage as we see here. 2 on both sides even. Both the cores.
No,
really.
I think Vega Squadron are okay trading BKBs for BKBs, because, like, as you see, Tidehunter, he didn't get to Ravage at all that entire fight. He wanted to, very, very badly, I'm sure, but there was no good opportunity, because first the Shadow Fiend was under his BKB, and then he just left, and then Tiny walks in with his BKB, which was staggered, and so you never really had a good opportunity if you're Blizzy. But if you start trading BKBs, like, Empire, Fiend's Grip will go through the BKB, so, you know, BKB or not, Bane is going to be roughly as effective. Hookshot goes through BKB, so it doesn't really matter that much.
True.
It's mainly just going to be for raise damage and tiny avalanche toss damage, and, you know, that's okay. Your non-BKB piercing stuff is way more important if you're Vega Squadron than it is for Team Empire.
Butterfly for Razor. He wants to build one of his own. 2,900 gold saved up. He's getting there. Boschka, Nightmare. As soon as Razor goes in, he's going to run. He has team support nearby. Razor's really committing to this, though, and that will be a kill. So, took a little bit of time, but Empire didn't feel comfortable responding. And again, nothing against him, but it's only a Bane, so let him be. Say congratulations on the pick.
See, now one of the downsides of this SF talent choice is, so you've got evasion from the butterfly, and then if you had evasion from your talent, you would have 55% evasion. And MKB is not in the cards right now for Palantimos. Even though it is a butterfly out on the map, he knows that as long as he steals damage from the Shadow Fiend, then that's the most important thing. So you'll get a few attacks in, and whichever attacks you do get in are going to deal a truckload of damage. And Gyrocopter, he has the MKB queued up because it's a little bit more important for him, seeing as how he has flat cannon. All of his attacks need to get that accuracy. But you'll see Raze damage talent be less important as the game progresses. There's still a 12k advantage for Empire, so I'm not saying that it's all gloom and doom yet, but, you know,
Oh, no.
this is the gambits that you take.
No,
If you can
Gambit we'll
get
see
your-
tomorrow.
That's true. These are the empires that you create. Hey.
There you go. They find the kill on Gyrocopter at the top lane, obviously, as we saw right there the last second. Simply, again, that Silver Edge initiation. Also, I'm sure Nyx Assassin had that Vendetta to jump in. So Gyro just simply trying to push out of the base a little bit. They have
a gem on Tidehunter, but he's not standing next to Gyro. And like he wasn't even that far out, so you don't really expect a Tidehunter to be like, yes, I'm going to hold your hand, I'm going to chaperone you as you farm like 600 units away from our base, but that's what's going to have to happen.
Hook shot, 12-second cooldown now, thanks to that Aghanim Scepter. So Gostek going to be a little even more willing to use the ability. Trying to find the angle right here. You can tell he's hunting for it. They don't have vision right now. There's a rocket flare. He's going to go in. Yes, he is in the backlands on a Rubik right there. The pushback as well. Nyx Assassin trying to finish off the double push. He goes down. The Fiend's grip blocking on Razor in the midst. The Requiem right on top. Razor's melting away. A couple more auto attacks to do him in. And the thwack from Tiny to finish the job. Gyrocopter buys back. Razor does have a buyback. Using the corner right there. The Ravage coming out, but the BKB of Tiny prevents him from being hit by it. The Gyrocopter is BKB wearing off, taking out Gostek. No, the Nightmare to save initially. He's going to be alive for the time being. The team support is real. These Bane Nightmares pretty clutch themselves. Nyx Assassin, he's too far up. Pops the Spike Carapace, start running away. Silent, they get the ranged rack, or the melee racks even. And now they're going to fall back. You see several heroes very low on life. So it's understandable they want to chase, but the cogs will prevent it in full. And that's the end of it. Empire wins another fight. 4-0, 2 buybacks.
Yeah, 2 buybacks. It's overall 5.5k net worth advantage for Team Empire, and they do claim that tier 3. They do claim a melee racks, and they can start taking down shrines. And Roche is potential to spawn in 3 seconds. If it's early, then the gods are smiling upon Empire right now. Assuming that they actually take it. Okay, it does spawn early, and they do get vision of it. Actually, no, they don't. That flare it barely does not get vision of it.
Oh, wow.
I wonder if they're like, oh, well, Roche isn't up, I guess.
Yeah, you would think that would give vision. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he does not flare it again, so they're just assuming Roche is down.
Huh.
Well, whatever. Even if they did confirm it's up, I don't even think Empire would do it, because Empire just does not like Roche, apparently.
Nah, they would rather fight. And Yoku,
Of course.
he's
That's why they see Aloha.
wants to get a jump, but Aloha playing it somewhat safe. Now he's going back in, and there's the hook shot and the inevitable kill onto him. So yeah, it's a tough game right now for Vega Squadron, especially. They finally doing Roshan. They are. Shadow Fiend, by the way, he did go the 3 damage per soul talent, and now he has a Daedalus on top of that. So he just really spiked when it comes to his right click here. Wow, that's a fast Roshan.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
10 seconds maybe at most. Aegis picked up by the Shadow Fiend. Was that Cheese as well, I assume? Yeah. Cheese on Tiny. No
man,
refresh.
Tiny went for 3 toss charges.
Oh.
Oh, hook shot.
Nice. But he did not go for the target, or no target.
Yeah, I wish. I never see
Darn.
it.
Here we go. Last stand of swords, it feels like, for Vega Squadron. Knocking on the mid door here. Empire, they ain't going anywhere. They're going to sit comfortably, wait for the creep wave. Go back in. There's not much Vega can do about it, it seems. They're eventually just going to have to commit to something.
Yep.
Ooh, hookshot misses.
You want to initiate because you don't want Silent and FN to get their BKBs off. You want to Ravage, then you want to deal a whole bunch of damage in the span of that Ravage. Just the way that Empire positioning is, like, it's so difficult to be able to get both the carries and then make sure that Clockwork can't interfere with your initiation, because it's like it's a game of chicken. One hero is going to initiate. If it's Ghostic, then Tidehunter has to back off, and if it's the Tidehunter, then immediately Ghostic goes in to match that Ravage.
Shadow Fiend dancing once again. They're trying to counter ward, but as we see, there's no ward to counter currently. There's a gem on Bane. But the vision basically lacking from Vega Squadron. So you get their perspective, other than this ward they just placed over here. They have nothing to work with. Creep Wave's pushing out, but again, playing very dark right now. maybe some kind of smoke play to try to catch Empire, because it's just you're just in such a desperate position right here for Vega Squadron again. But they're going to continue to just sit at their base currently and say, all right, at least we can prevent them from finishing this game. But it's not getting you a lot at this point if you're Vega Squadron either. And I mean, I have Scotty on Gyrocopter would be nice. That Butterfly on Razor. At this rate, though, it's going to be a while.
Yeah, Empire are farming much more because they're clearing out the creep wave in the lanes, and then they're also alternating back into the jungle. Whereas Vega Squadron, like, it's not even just the gyro farming. Like, you see Shaman has to help out, Rubik's been helping out, Razor's been helping out. G is not able to farm, and he's just not allowed to leave this base.
Stick. Once again, looking for the angle, using those flares.
Smoke up.
Ooh, this could really...
Not that it really changes anything. I mean, it's daytime, so that's like part of the reason why they smoke up right now, because you may be able to pick... Oh, nice hook.
Getting Rasta, he's dead right off the bat. He got his wards down at least, so able to do that. Gostic, the blade mills up. He got Rubik also. That's Razor, excuse me, in the back lines. Drops off fast. I thought it was Rubik for a second. Gyrocopter was locked down by the Fiend's Grip, though. FN just puts in the down onto him, and now he's going to go for Tidehunter as well. Razor trying to reset. He gets caught with the hook shot. He's dead with the dieback as his Gyrocopter, and the GG well played is being officially called. Empire going to take game number 3.
Oh no, the Carapace, he can't even kill FN. Not that it would have mattered because he had Aegis anyway.
Minor victory, not so much at the end.
Not. You take what you can try to get, but Empire were giving them nothing this game. It was, well, actually, they did give a little bit, but they pulled it together and they showed composure in the end. It was, I can't even really claim that it's like a draft victory or anything. It's just Empire played better. Ghost Stick was far more of an impact than this Tidehunter could be, and Ghost Stick's definitely the MVP for me this game, and Empire come out on top. It was a close series, but yeah, in the end, it looked like Empire played conservatively enough to not throw it away.
If I had to definitely bet on a team that I would expect to win this series going into it, not going to lie, I would have leaned towards Empire. If anything, because, again, Vega Squadron, not to make excuses, but yeah, they are kind of going through a tryout phase here. A couple of new players. Honestly, you know, it seemed like it stepped up even from just 2 days ago when we saw them the first time, and it's going to take time, and we'll see how it ultimately plays out for them with Palantimos and Blizzy here. But for now, Empire with Yoku standing in. Speaking of that, and you kind of wonder, is there something there too? Now, back-to-back series we see in that situation. But in the end, Empire moving on to the finals, where they're going to wait the winner of what is Gambit versus Spirit in another semifinal matchup. And that'll be taking place tomorrow at the same time, I believe. Yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern, what is 1500 Central European time. But once again, Tsunami, only the one series today, and worried there initially that it's going to be a quick one. Ends up being a 3-game series, though, so going the distance. Overall, some good Dota being played. But anything else to say? Any shout-outs from you, Tsunami, before we wrap up?
No, nothing comes to mind. I'm looking forward to what the grand final matchup will be. I would guess that Spirit will probably come out on top of Gambit, but Gambit were doing fairly well against who's their opponent? Oh yeah, No Creativity in their previous round series. So again, like I can't really give any clear favorites, much as how I couldn't in this series. So it's respectable to CIS that they're keeping it well contested within their own region.
Mm-hmm. Always entertaining region, definitely, to be able to cast and watch here. So looking forward already to tomorrow's against Spirit versus Gambit. That will as well be a best of 3, and then the finals set to happen on Friday, which should be a best out of 5 single elimination event here. So as far as today's coverage, though, we're going to be wrapping things up. The StarLadder I-League Invitational Season number 4 CIS Qualifiers. Once again, I was Breaky CPK, joined by Tsunami here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Spirit versus Gambit. Until then, congratulations one more time to Team Empire. See you then.